The procedure on this record is one which I have taught to thousands of physicians who are using it successfully in their practices every day. In fact, the record is being made at the request of these doctors and is available to you only through your doctor. If you want to know why the doctors have requested this record, you are certainly entitled to an explanation. Therefore, let us start at the beginning and have you understand its purpose. There has never been found a good name for the state that I teach doctors to obtain with their patients. The state is one of deep relaxation. And since we know that most obesity problems are caused by emotional tensions, doctors were amazed some years ago to find that when the state was obtained, the deep relaxation caused many of the emotional tensions to disappear completely. And the doctors were almost astounded to find that with the disappearance of the emotional tensions, obesity simply melted away. The patient had no desire to overeat, and some very fat people lost as much as 150 to 200 pounds. They came down to normal weight as if by magic. Soon many more doctors began using the technique on more obese patients, and it became apparent that those patients benefited the most who were able to get the doctor to repeat the techniques again and again. This was wonderful from the patient's viewpoint, but soon the doctor was besieged by so many obesity problems that he had little or no time to attend to other patients. It is this very situation that this record seeks to rectify. Now the patient can have as much help as is necessary. The same results are accomplished, and yet the doctor is able to save the patient the cost of those repeated visits. How can you get the most out of this record? Well, let's be absolutely frank. It won't do you an iota of good if you just listen to the words but don't follow exact instructions. Words as such don't mean a thing. It is how they are used that is important. In other words, you will get the most good out of the record if you follow instructions completely. When the voice on the record tells you to do something, do it. You will get out of this record exactly what you put into it. If you have a sincere desire to lose weight, hold on to that sincerity when you listen to the record. It will relax you deeply, very deeply. At the slightest sign of return of tension, listen to the record again. There are some people who will have to play the record every day to hold on to this feeling of relaxation all the time. There are many, many others who will only have to listen to it once, every few days or every few weeks. You must gauge your need for the record by how well you are able to maintain the diet your doctor puts you on. Perhaps your doctor can guide you on how often you are to listen to this record. Now, here are some of the things you should not do if you want to lose weight rapidly. Don't lose your temper. Try to avoid situations which involve you emotionally. Don't quarrel with anybody. Those three don'ts are very, very important. Suppose I tell you why. We'll say that you've been following the orders on the record and are more than satisfied with the progress you are making. Now, because you lose your temper or quarrel with someone, you become emotionally involved. Inner tensions are increased to an almost unbearable limit, and it becomes difficult for you to maintain your diet. Avoid that difficulty by saying to yourself, every time I lose my temper, every time I quarrel with somebody, I'm only making things tougher for me. I'm not going to put on weight just on account of somebody I don't like. If you keep that thought in your mind, you'll be surprised how easily you'll be able to avoid the three don'ts, which are like vicious traps for overweight people. Now, here are some of the things you should do. Follow your doctor's orders completely. Don't vary from them one iota. If he tells you he doesn't want to take the weight off you too fast, he has a reason for what he's saying. On the other hand, if he says, let's lose this extra weight fast, once again, follow his exact orders, listen to this record, and you'll lose it. Avoid carousing. A few extra drinks can mean a few extra pounds. Why? Well, if the liquor itself doesn't do it, liquor has a habit of giving a person an abnormal appetite. And again, good intentions are shattered, and it is more difficult to remain on a diet. When you go out to dine with a group, and everyone but you orders a lavish meal, let them put on the weight, not you. It will be much easier for you to remain on your diet if just before you venture forth on such a sally, you listen to the record on the opposite side of this one. And occasionally, listen to this side of the record, too. And now for a few random thoughts on overweight problems. If we could all live in perpetual peace and tranquility, would that solve the overweight problems of the world? No, indeed. Why, we have records of hermits who have lived alone for many, many years, avoiding the eternal conflicts of man. And many of these hermits have been overweight. It is not the conflicts of man meeting man which causes overweight. It is the problem of man meeting himself with all his personal problems. These are the things which cause overweight. A hermit can get away from the rest of the world, but he can't get away from himself. The techniques on this record, if followed properly, can teach you to live with yourself properly. And if you follow the techniques, you will undoubtedly find that with the release of inner tensions, life will be more pleasant, smoother, easier. Try it and see for yourself. How would you like to lose weight with an absolute minimum of effort on your part? You can if you will learn how to relax. And I can teach you how to relax very, very easily. Want to try it? Just follow these simple instructions. The first thing I want you to do is to lean back in your chair or bed and get comfortable. I don't care what position you get into, just so long as you are comfortable. You comfortable now? All right. Take a good, long, deep breath. That's right. And get rid of that surface tension. Let it all out. Now, close your eyes. That's it. And now relax those muscles around the eyes. Relax those muscles to the point where they actually won't work. And when you're positive those muscles around the eyes won't work, try to make them work. And you'll see they just can't. That's right. They won't work. And notice how good you feel just as a result of this relaxation. Now, while you're going into deeper relaxation as I talk, let me tell you something about overweight problems. Glandular conditions are responsible for overweight in less than 1 out of 1,000 cases. Then what is responsible for overweight? Overeating. And in practically every case of obesity, the overeating is caused by inner tensions. Relieve those inner tensions and the patient who is overweight no longer has the urge to overeat. The desire to nibble between meals disappears. Hunger pains vanish. And all of this, if you simply learn how to relax those inner tensions out of your system, and you're doing that right now. Have you ever wondered why some people stay at normal weight all their lives, while others gain weight much too easily? The reason is simply this. Everybody copes with inner tensions in a different way. You may not know it, but if you are overweight, you cope with your inner tensions by overeating. Not intentionally, mind you, but at a level below conscious awareness. Let me tell you why that is. If you are like most overweight people, you can look back to the time when your weight was just as normal as it could be. You weren't carrying around an extra pound. Notice what happened as you became older. You were subjected to the stresses and strains of modern living. Oh, it doesn't matter what those stresses and strains were. There were stresses and strains for which you were unprepared, and with which you tried to cope but didn't know how. Just think back for a moment to all those stresses and strains which you've been through in your lifetime, and you'll know what I mean. Now, what happens when you get tense and more tensions come along with every passing moment and every passing day? You're bound to get a feeling of insecurity. And as this feeling of insecurity takes hold, there is a tendency to wish you were back when life was at its sweetest and you had the greatest security you ever knew. You know when that was? That was when you were a tiny baby and Mother held you in her arms and fed you and your stomach felt good and all was right with the world. Well, your common sense tells you you can't be a baby again. Those days are gone. But you can have that wonderful feeling of security in your stomach. And so Mother Nature whispers to you, if you eat a lot, you'll get that wonderful feeling again that you had when you were an infant. You'll get that feeling that all is right with the world. Oh, Mother Nature is a clever old dame. She doesn't shout this at you. No, indeed. She whispers it to you below your level of consciousness. And what happens? As the stresses and strains grow greater every day, you try to obtain a feeling of security by overeating. This becomes a habit by which an overweight person lives his or her life. And it's a vicious habit pattern, difficult to break if you don't know how, but so easy to break if you do know how. How do you do it the easy way? Learn how to relax those inner tensions right out of your system. Do just what you're doing now. If you have followed instructions up to this moment, you should be nicely relaxed from head to toe. But we're going to help you increase your relaxation many, many times over simply by having you follow this further instruction. When I tell you to, and not before, I want you to open and then close your eyes, and you will be 5 times more relaxed than you are now. Now, open your eyes. That's right. Now, close them again. And now just let that feeling of relaxation cover you from head to toe. Just imagine that you're covered with a blanket of relaxation, and we're going to tuck you into this blanket of relaxation even further by having you, when I tell you to, and not before, open and close your eyes once again. You ready? Now open. Now close. You feel that increase in relaxation again? That's right. You have such utter relaxation now that physically you have all the relaxation necessary. But I would like to show you how to relax mentally as well as physically. So here's how we're going to do it. I want you to start counting backward from 100 to 97 with a thought in mind that each time you say a number, you're going to relax twice as much as you've relaxed right now. And the oddest thing will happen. By the time you've reached 97, you will be so relaxed physically and mentally that you will have relaxed those numbers right out of you. You won't be able to think of numbers, you won't be able to see numbers, but you'll just feel so relaxed. Notice how that surge of relaxation comes over you as you dispel the numbers completely. So want those numbers dispelled and watch how they disappear. Now start counting from 100 and notice how they disappear. That's right. Notice how they're starting to leave you already? Now they're disappearing. Now they're gone. Can't see them at all, can you? Now, do you feel that surge of relaxation? All right. Now it's in this state, when you are physically and mentally relaxed, that it is possible to rid yourself of all those inner tensions which are causing your overweight problems. Notice that in this relaxed state, you don't need food to give you a complete sense of contentment. Notice how good you feel and how contented you are at this very moment, simply because you are relaxed. Now, it is possible to hold on to this feeling of relaxation after you have listened to this record just as easily as you're holding on to it now. And I want you to hold on to it. And any time you start to lose it, listen to this record again and again until that feeling of relaxation is with you all the time and those inner tensions are gone completely. It's when you're relaxed like this and holding on to that feeling of relaxation all through every day that it is so easy to follow your doctor's orders. Why, you'll be on a diet without even feeling 1 minute of so-called hunger pains, desire for food, or anything like that. It will be so easy for you to stay on the diet that it won't seem to you that you're on any diet at all. You won't have to eat between meals because you will have that wonderful feeling of contentment, of a full stomach all the time, just as you have now. Your stomach will feel full, and you won't want excess food. Another wonderful thing that will happen is that the foods which the doctor tells you to eat will taste good to you. They will taste so very good, and you won't need very much of them. By the time you get to the dessert, your stomach will feel so full that you won't want any, and you'll avoid desserts so you can solve this overweight problem more readily. And when your doctor tells you to avoid starchy foods, you'll feel good every time you avoid them. You'll have that wonderful feeling of contentment that you're having now when you're fully relaxed. Fatty foods won't appeal to you because every time you look at those foods, you'll feel as though your stomach is so full you just couldn't add to that full feeling. All of this will happen if you merely say to yourself, I'm going to hold on to this relaxation. I'm going to hold on to it night and day, week after week, because losing weight makes me look and feel so much better. And now that you are feeling so good and feeling so confident that you can hold on to this relaxation, I'm going to, in a moment or two, have you open your eyes. When you do, this feeling of contentment will hold on. This feeling of mental and physical relaxation will hold on. You won't let petty annoyances disturb you. You'll be able to cope with the stresses and strains under which you're living. You'll have a most wonderful night's rest and such a pleasant day tomorrow and every day, for you'll be thinking to yourself, if I stay relaxed like this, overweight will no longer be a problem to me. Soon I will have the normal weight that is right and good for me. And you'll find that your health will improve as you lose this weight. You'll feel better, and feeling better, you'll be better able to cope with the stresses and strains of everyday living. And now that you're feeling so good, open your eyes and notice how well you feel. That's right.